Holy crap. I can't believe it. 600 subscribers. Wow, I know I've said this before, but seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Just thank you for sticking around. Thank you for watching my vids, and thank you for all the lovely comments. It really does mean a lot to me, seriously. Like, I never thought I'd get this far. This was a channel I made originally for, like, video games and all that, but since I've been uploading all sorts of content, and this channel's been kind of blowing up recently, like, 500 subscribers was, like, 2 months ago, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Just, wow, that's insane. Thank you, guys. Just, thank you. Anyways, on today's very special video. Oh, I forgot to do my intro. Oh well. Anyways, hello boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Clankzoka. Welcome to my 600 subscriber special video. Now, I made a vote a few days ago, or was it? Anyways, recently I made a vote. I had 3 options. The first 2 were suggested by a couple of my subscribers. One was top 10 favourite animated films of mine, 2 was top 10 favourite films of mine, and 3, this came from me, was me doing some impressions of, like, cartoon characters, celebrities, and all that. So most of you went for number 1, which I think is interesting, since I'm very passionate about animation, although you could say I'm an animation enthusiast. Yeah. So today I will be doing my top 10 favourite animated films of all time. Now, in order to do this, I had to pick 10 films that I 10 animated films that I absolutely adore. But the thing was, it was a bit tricky because there are so many animated films that I love, obviously, that I consider as masterpieces. So I had to really think carefully. Why not do 10 and have a couple of honourable mentions? And so, instead of me showing you pictures, with the exception of maybe one, what about DVDs? So here are my honourable mentions. All of these films that are on the screen right now, I love. I think they're very well written, beautifully animated. They're meaningful. They're timeless. Some of them are even funny. I love all these films. I think they're great. But unfortunately, they didn't quite make the top 10 list. So, without any further ado, let's get on with the list. Zootropolis, or Zootopia in the United States. What can I say about Zootopia? I'm going to say Zootopia a lot, aren't I? Zootropolis. When I first saw it in cinemas, I wasn't too sure, but after watching it, I was very sure. This is some of the best animation from Disney yet. The 2 main characters, Nick Wilde and Judy Holtz, one voiced by Jason Bateman and the other one voiced by Jennifer Goodwin. They are both funny, charismatic, they both do care about each other, they have good chemistry. I think they're both really great main characters. It's funny, intense, emotional, it's unpredictable at times, and it has a great theme of prejudice, I can't say the word, but prejudice and discrimination. And it ties into the film's story and theme, and I think it works to its advantage. It's easy. Also, it is my favourite Disney 3D animated film, and I know people are absolutely adoring Frozen 2 and all that, and I really enjoyed Frozen 2, but Zootropolis, while it was once overrated, is kind of, forgotten, and it's now considered underrated. Seriously, guys, if you haven't seen this film, I do highly recommend it for Disney fans and furries, I guess. Seriously, that whole Judy DeviantArt thing is weird. Moving on. The Incredibles. And before you ask, no, I do not mean Incredibles 2. As much as I love to put that on the list because I fucking enjoyed the hell out of that film, I think Incredibles is a much stronger film. Don't get me wrong, I think Incredibles 2 is amazing, like one of the best animated sequels, but the first film is kind of special. I think Brad Bird is an animation god and legend. You know, he directed The Iron Giant, which was on my honourable mentions list. He would later do Ratatouille, which coincidentally enough, also on my honourable mentions list. He did Tomorrowland, which I thought was fine. I haven't seen Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. He was also a writer for The Simpsons as well, so you can tell that this is right up his alley. I think the themes of superheroes and modern and just every family day life is great. Like, you've got this family superheroes, you've got Bob, you've got Helen, Violet, Dash, Jack. One is struggling at work and he has problems trying to adapt to his job and life because of his strength. One is a household mum who's trying to take care of the kids. Both are your typical shy teenager and annoying fast little boy, and the baby who's just kind of laughing. But the thing is, Brad can actually make these characters not only funny and entertaining, but believable as a family. The animation, while it has slightly dated, it still looks fantastic. Like, there is something very stylish and cartoony about Brad Bird's designs. And I think Incredibles 2 improved on that quite a bit, but it's still a fucking phenomenal looking film. Even from 2004, it's also well written, funny, quotable, and action-packed. Of course, like a superhero film should be. I'd definitely say this is in like the top 5 best superhero films, but I don't know if it would be like top 1 or 2. But it will always be one of the best Pixar films of all time, and one of the best animated superhero films of all time too. WALL-E. Here we go, another Pixar classic. This came out in 2008, and when I was a little kid, I really wanted to see this film because I was a big Pixar fan. Even if I was 7 or 8, I was big into Pixar. And I remember watching the trailer, the advertisements, and the toys. Well, buying the toys as well, and the video game. WALL-E was huge when it came out. This was back when Pixar was ruling the world with animation. When I saw it, it was like one of the biggest one of the biggest cinema experiences I ever had. WALL-E is adorable, sweet, funny, mind-blowingly beautiful, and just fun. I love the two main characters. Wally and Eve are both lovely, charismatic, funny. They have wonderful designs. There's lots of great little references to other movies as well. The first, the first part of the film where Wally tries to impress Eve back on Earth is something you would see in like a short film. No dialogue, you let the expressions and animation bring you in, and you can tell from their expressions and how they feel in terms of each other and the situation. You don't always need dialogue. However, when the other part comes in, when they go onto the Axion, I think that's what it's called, people say it's not quite as great as the first half, but I think it gets better. It gets more action-packed, interesting, funny. This is one of those films that I put in the category of it's really hard to hate. Do I have any issues? No, actually. It's a fucking perfect film. I'd probably say 4th best Pixar film. But that is yet to come. So yeah, if you haven't seen WALL-E, what the fuck are you doing? Go watch it. It's amazing. I mean, come on. It's a robot. And he's cute. You can't go wrong there, can you? Coco. Now, Coco technically for us in the UK was 2018, but it was released in the United States and I assume other countries in 2017, and it won it won two Oscars, one for Best Animated Feature and another Oscar for its original song, Remember Me. Though I have to say goodbye, remember me. Don't let it make you cry, for even if I'm far away, I hold you in my heart. I sing this little song to... I don't remember the rest of the lyrics, but also, fucking amazing song. It's really fucking amazing. Coco... Coco had this kind of controversy where it was like the ants... It was kind of like the Ants and Bugs Life thing, where people are comparing this film to something a little similar, in this case the Book of Life, and I really liked the Book of Life, but Coco brought something special and meaning to its theme, which is Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead. This film is so sweet, emotional, funny, ungodly beautiful, and full of colour and creativity. And the characters are likeable, it's well directed, it's directed by Lee Unch. I think that's how you pronounce his second name. He directed Toy Story 3 from 2010. I think this film it's got one of the best soundtracks in the film. Like, the songs are amazing, they're well written, they stick to the theme of what the film is going for. The score by Michael Giacchino is amazing as always. Seriously, this came out around the time, well, I guess close to The Greatest Showman, and people are so in love with Greatest Showman. Okay, the one thing that genuinely pisses me off about this film is that people prefer the songs over Greatest Showman than this. Well, first off, the songs from The Greatest Showman, about 50, maybe 40% of them are good, the rest are forgettable. The film itself is not really that good. People watch it because of the songs instead of buying them. And yet when they buy them, the film becomes more and more popular. I don't get it. Coco, on the other hand, has all of those, but it does it in a unique, different, and totally not manipulative way. It will make you cry, but it won't make you... But it won't modernise anything. It just sticks to its roots. Guys, if you love musicals, if you love films with songs, watch Coco. Don't watch Greatest Showman. Greatest Showman is so fucking overrated. Coco, on the other hand, is sort of underrated. Seriously, guys. Please give this a watch, because not many people really talk about this film as much, but it is a really important, really heartfelt, really fun, really colourful film, and it will get you in the feels. Just like me. Up. Now here is a tear-jerking film. This film came out in 2009. I don't think many people knew what to think of it. It's a man in a house with lots of balloons. How is that going to be anything but boring? When the film came out, this took everyone by surprise. I fucking loved this film when it came out, and I didn't expect it to be this amazing. It turned into a funny, powerful, emotional, engaging, entertaining, very brightly animated film. I think we all know, like, the first few minutes with Carl and Ellie, which is, again, like WALL-E, the first few minutes feel like it came from a short film. And it's done so well. When we get the montage of Ellie and Carl's marriage life until Ellie dies, and without dialogue, it makes their relationship lovely, but also heart-wrenching too, when you find out that Ellie can't have children. But it is genuinely well done and so unbelievably beautiful. The other characters like Doug, Kevin, and even like the villain dogs are quite funny. All the characters are highly memorable and funny. Charles Muntz proves to be a very threatening and actually understandable villain. Carl Fredricksen may seem a bit grumpy and grouchy as an old man, but he is light-hearted and he does seem to have a heart for at least Russell, Doug, and Kevin. What can I say? Pete Docter, bloody hell. You're a fucking great director. This film may sound at first a bit strange. You know, a man in his house with balloons going to. Oh shit! I should know this. Paradise Falls. Yes, I was gonna forget, but I was like, oh yeah, it's Paradise Falls, or was it Parasite? Anyways, if you guys haven't seen this film, again, what the fuck are you doing? Please go and watch it. It's another Pixar classic that everyone deserves to watch. It's sad, funny, it's beautiful, it's light-hearted. It's just kind of a perfect film, in my opinion. Anomalisa. This is yet another animated film that I consider highly, highly underrated. This is directed by Charlie Kaufman and co-directed by Duke Johnson. Charlie Kaufman's worked on quite a bit of critically acclaimed films. I think he worked on Adaption, Upscheme New York. I think he was part of Being John Malkovich was directed by Spike Jonze, and I don't know if he directed that. I think he wrote it, but I could be wrong. And Duke Johnson, I think, worked on a few Adult Swim shows, hence why Starburst Industries is part of this film. Coincidentally enough, Rick and Morty is actually from that company too. Anomalisa is one of the most complex, beautiful, real, and in some ways relatable film. It's about a man who's quite miserable and sad about his life. Things around him seem to be mundane, dull, and all around the same. Until he meets a girl named Lisa, and then his life turns upside down, and things get interesting. This film got nominated, and people are kind of upset that it didn't win over Inside Out, which I'm fine with, because, I mean, I love Inside Out, and I think this film is fucking great. When I first watched it, I didn't quite get it. I mean, I loved it, but I didn't quite get it. But after watching it 10 times, and then watching, and I was like, I didn't quite get it. Usually critics like me would watch it and then go make their own assumptions, like what happened, what do they think the point of the film is, what's its message. Usually, and I know this technically wouldn't make you any smarter, but if you guys watch a complex film like this film or some Charlie Kaufman's other films, if you do not understand what happened and you liked it and you want to know more about it, I highly recommend you go to YouTube and type in film title, analysis, or explained. Trust me, I had to do that with Anomalisa. And it doesn't mean you're stupid or duh, you should make your own assumption and listen to someone else's. You don't always have to do that. Critics might say that as well. They might see it, and then other people will have to either listen to what you have to say or just say you like it just because. No, you can agree with what other people are saying, or you can say, "Oh no, I think it's this message and all that." After listening to Anomalisa and even some of the other people's theories about it, I'm like, I actually fucking love the film even more. So you don't always have to, watch it and go, huh, I don't understand it. You can always go into YouTube. There'll be tons of theories and analyzations of these art house films, and they will explain to you what makes these films so special and unique. And Anomalisa, certainly one of them. The animation is so down to earth and so brilliant. I think it's one of the best use of stop motion ever. The voice acting is genuine and it's real. From what I can tell, when David Thewlis, Jennifer Jason Leigh, and Tom Noonan were doing the voice acting, this was all in one take. They didn't do any cuts. They didn't do it separately. No. The whole point of Anomalisa is that it's supposed to be a real film. like Us, but except with puppets and all that. But when these guys did the voice acting, they did it together to make it feel human and genuine, and it works. And the storytelling is engaging. It's beautiful. It's well done. I think it's a really, really well directed film and really well written as well. But sadly, this is yet another one of those art house films that people just forget about because it's very artsy. Art house films now and then can be a bit too housey, but art house films are there to represent a different perspective on either life or the themes that the film has been given. Anomalisa does both. By the way, if you haven't seen it, try and find a way to watch it. It's amazing. It's like unlike anything I've ever seen. If Duke Johnson or Charlie Kaufman does something like this again in animation, I'll definitely watch it. This is like the magnum opus to Fantastic Mr. Fox by Wes Anderson. Both of them are animated. Even the humans look a bit similar, but with Anomalisa, it's more complex and more down to earth. So please watch Anomalisa. You won't regret it. The Lego Movie. Yes, yeah, I know. A bit of an overrated choice, but like Anomalisa, it's a film that's unlike anything I've ever seen. I mean, stop-motion Lego short films are impressive, but this film changes animation in a big and unbelievable way. The animation looks so close to Lego that it actually looks like stop-motion. The characters, the humour, the voice acting, the directing by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, or Chris Miller, is perfection. The theme of the film, and I think the message near the end where Emmett confronts Lord Business, is not only just sweet, but it sticks to the theme of what Lego's all about. Building whatever you want with the right not with the right imagination, but with imagination and creativity. And this film captures what makes Lego so much fun. The story's well done, it's hilarious. Everything in this film, except with the live action scenes, of course, are completely made of Lego. And the big twist that everyone is talking about with this film is, if you haven't seen the film before, I won't give anything away, but let's say the twist in the film is fucking like nobody expected this at all. So this film was kind of a surprise hit. I didn't see it when it came out, which I feel really ashamed of, but I fucking love it. I love the Lego Movie. The sequels and the Lego Ninjago film are great as well, but this one truly stands on its own as being the best Lego movie of them all. And also being an animated masterpiece, of course. Because why not? Everything is awesome, of course. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This is yet another film that is, you would have predicted would be on here. This is probably the most overrated film out of all of them, I would say. Which, overrated, depending on what the film is, can be a good or bad thing. With this one, oh hell yeah, it's a good thing. Once again, Phil Lord and Chris Miller are back, but more as producers, and I think Chris or Phil wrote the story, and you can see why this film was huge and an Oscar winner. The animation is stylish, it's different, it's full of cartoony and comic book style that works. The characters are all funny and memorable and have great personalities, especially Miles Morales, Peter B. Parker, and Gwen Stacy. It's clever, funny. It mocks the whole Spider-Man franchise, especially Sam Raimi's and probably Mark Webb, and obviously John Watts from the MCU. It's emotional. You can relate to Miles and his struggle with school. The villain's interesting. It's well written. It's got a great soundtrack as well, along with a very epic score by Daniel Pemberton. I think that's how you pronounce his second name, but yeah. This was my second favourite film from 2018. And I can see why people love this film. I think it's fucking amazing. There might be a few tad little cliches, but none of them affect my rating for it, which was 10 out of 10. So I love this film. I can't wait for the sequel. And I hope more animation studios can take advantage from this. It doesn't always have to look the same or be the same, it can be different. And this film changed animation and even superhero films, just like the Lego Movie, in a big way. And that's why I think this film is probably my favourite well, along with The Incredibles, this is in my top 5 favourite animated superhero films, and probably my favourite Marvel film of all time. Isle of Dogs. I have been talking about this film like kind of over and over now and then, but I fucking adore this film. The first time I watched it, I was blown away. I actually had to think. Rarely with a film I actually have to think and then give it a rating. This film left such a big impact on me by how brilliant and how incredible it is. There are elements in the film that usually wouldn't work, but for a film by Wes Anderson, it does. Although I love Fantastic Mr. Fox, I think this is a bigger achievement. The animation is impressive, it's well done, it's colourful at times, it's stylish, it's wonderful to look at, the voice acting, it's funny and great. Along with the traditional Wes Anderson cast like Bill Murray, Jeff Goldblum, Edward Norton, you name it. The characters are all memorable and they do play a good part in the film. I love Chief, I love Spots, I love Peppermint, I love our main kid, Atari Kobayashi. All the characters are fucking great and they have a purpose and a point. The score by Alexandre Desplat is one of the best movie scores I've heard. It's unique, big and different. The story's well executed. This is a fucking perfect film. The way they have these, whenever they introduce a character, they introduce him with English and Japanese subtitles. It's just a genius idea and it's really funny. This is a genuinely witty, fun film. If you love Wes Anderson, you'll love this one. This is my favourite film from him, and I think it's just fucking amazing. And I saw this 4 times in cinemas in total. That's right, 4 times. It's better than you guys watching The Greatest Showman 25, 30 times. Guys, there are better films to watch than that pile of overratedness. And number 1, the film that I consider to be the best of the best, although technically most of these I would say is in no order, but I saved the best for last. This is one that many people will probably disagree or maybe agree with, but number 1 for me is Inside Out. This is not only my favourite Pixar film, but it's one of my favourite animated films, and it always has been for a while. I get why people didn't like it, and it's very problematic, but I have little to no problems. It's very well animated, it's very beautiful to look at, I love the movement, I love the designs of all the emotions, the characters, the human characters are all relatable, and you can definitely see where they're coming from. It's kind of a coming-of-age story when you think about it. I love all the emotions. I think anger is probably my favourite character. Joy and sadness, you can definitely see their personality, and they're all great, they're all likeable. This is actually one of the first films that I actually cried at. Before, it was Marley and Me. Technically, yeah, but it's because I love dogs. But this is the first film, genuinely made me cry because I was so invested with the characters and the stories. I was like, who's cutting the onions in the cinema? I saw this 3 times in total when it came out, and I still love it. And again, this is directed by Pete Docter, who is a fucking wonderful animation director, and he directed this so beautifully. I've watched it so many times on DVD. This film has not changed one bit. It still remains amazing, beautiful, emotional, changing, funny, incredible. This is a masterpiece of an animated film, and you can see why I love Pixar, because Pixar can handle so many depressing and even sometimes dark topics, and it can be funny, light-hearted, and emotional, and just an experience. And that's why I think personally Inside Out is my favourite animated film of all time. In fact, all of these animated films have left an impact on me. I think they're all absolutely incredible, no pun intended. But yeah. So yeah, oh god. I mean, this was a list I probably wouldn't do because I've already talked about all of them, but it is great to talk about these films again and how much of an impact they left on me. And again, if you haven't seen any of them, which you should, go watch all of them, because I do highly recommend all of them, and the honourable mentions as well. So yeah, wow. There you go, my top 10 favourite animated films. So what do you guys think of these films? Do you like them? What are your top 10 favourites? Let me know below. I'm very interested, because like I said, I'm a person who's really into animation, and again, I could arguably be a animation enthusiast. But yeah, let me know below, and yeah, as always, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. Top 10 favourite films of mine will be coming next, in soon. I don't know when, but soon. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. Until next time, everything is awesome.